Before we start, please make sure to like this video and hit this subscribe button, so you never miss a story like this. And also comments where you are watching from, how many sons and daughters you have. Thanks. My name is Alyssa, and I never expected my birthday party to become the battleground where my marriage would explode in front of everyone we knew. Why don't you just admit it, Jason? My voice echoed across the living room, cutting through the music and laughter. The guests went silent, forks paused mid-air, wine glasses froze in trembling hands. Eyes turned toward us. But I didn't care. I couldn't care anymore. Jason raised his hands like he was the victim. Alyssa, can you not do this here? Not in front of everyone. Oh, you mean not embarrass you in front of your precious coworkers? Or should I say, in front of her? I turned my glare toward Vanessa, the marketing assistant who always laughed too loud at Jason's jokes, touched his arm a little too long during meetings, and somehow always found a reason to be around. She had the nerve to stand there, still holding her wine glass, eyes wide like she was confused why I was angry. You called her babe, Jason, I spat, my chest heaving. In front of everyone. At my birthday. What did you think I'd do? Laugh and thank you for the nickname? The room was spinning, but I was steady, fueled by pure betrayal. Jason looked stunned, mouth open, but no words coming out. You think that was an accident? I kept going, tears burning behind my eyes. You looked right at her, smiled, and said, "You okay, babe?" Like I wasn't standing 3 feet away. Like I was nothing. People shifted awkwardly. His boss, Mark, cleared his throat. My sister was already up from the couch, her arms crossed tight, her stare locked on Jason with that "I told you so" look. But I didn't need backup. Not tonight. Jason finally found his voice. It was a slip. I call everyone babe. I call you babe. I laughed, bitter and sharp. You don't call me babe, Jason. You haven't called me anything sweet in months. You barely look at me unless I'm in your way. But her? You light up like she's your personal sunrise. Vanessa finally spoke, her voice sweet and syrupy like poison in a teacup. Alyssa, I think you're overreacting. Jason and I have a professional relationship. Professional? I barked. Professional doesn't involve staying after hours with the office lights off. Professional doesn't giggle through text messages at midnight. And professional definitely doesn't involve him whispering sweet names at a married woman during his wife's birthday party. The air was thick. Everyone could feel it, that static right before lightning strikes. But I didn't care about the crowd anymore. I cared about the truth. I'd been swallowing it for months, forcing smiles while Jason slipped further and further away, always too busy, always tired, always texting. And I saw the way she looked at him. The way he looked back. Jason dropped his hands. Okay. Fine. You want me to say it? Yes, I've been spending time with her. But not like you're making it out to be. We're just close. Close? I repeated. Is that what we're calling it now? Close? You're a married man, Jason. You don't get to be close to another woman like that. Not while I'm at home, raising your son, keeping this house running, and pretending our marriage still means something. Jason's jaw clenched. Well, maybe if you paid attention to me, instead of always being a mom or a project manager or whatever, you'd see that I've been lonely too. The audacity punched me in the chest. I paid for this party, Jason. I planned every detail to make you proud. I worked late nights, ran errands on my lunch break, and ordered your mother's favorite wine even though she can't stand me. And you have the nerve to say you're the one who's lonely? He didn't respond. That silence said everything. And then Vanessa did the worst thing she could have done. She reached for his hand. The room gasped. My knees almost buckled. But I stood tall. Take your hand off my husband, I said quietly. Not screaming. Not crying. Just done. Jason didn't pull away. That's when I knew. Everything inside me cracked open, all the late nights wondering, all the awkward silences, all the excuses, they weren't just in my head. I wasn't paranoid. I was right. And now everyone else knew it, too. I turned toward the guests, my voice strong and clear. Thank you all for coming tonight. I hope the cake was good. I'm sure the drama was better. But the party's over. And so is this marriage. Jason stepped forward. Alyssa, don't. I held up a hand. No. You don't get to don't me. You made your choice, in front of everyone. I'm just finally accepting it. I walked past him, past Vanessa, past all the people staring at me like I was either a tragedy or a hero. I wasn't either. I was just a woman who finally saw the truth, and decided not to pretend anymore. And as I reached the front door, I turned around just once more. By the way, Jason? Next time you call someone babe, make sure your wife isn't in the room. And I left. But this story is just getting started. Because what they didn't know was that I had a plan, and a secret, that would change everything. They thought I was walking away in defeat. They thought I was running off to cry in some corner. But I wasn't the one who should have been crying. When I stepped outside that house, the house I had paid most of the mortgage on, by the way, I didn't fall apart. I smiled. For the first time in weeks. Because I'd seen what I needed to see. And now, everything could finally begin. I got into my car, slammed the door, and just sat there gripping the steering wheel. My heart was still racing. Not from sadness, but from relief. Like finally getting to take a deep breath after holding it for far too long. Because what Jason didn't know, what none of them knew, was that 3 days ago, I hired a private investigator. Yep. Call me crazy. Call me paranoid. But I wasn't about to let another woman take my man and lie about it while I played dumb in front of our family and friends. And guess what? I already had pictures. Clear ones. Of him holding her waist outside their office. Of them getting into his car together after hours. Of them at a hotel, where they stayed for 3 hours and came out looking like two people who didn't spend that time reading reports. They looked smug. Comfortable. Guilty. I hadn't told a soul. Not even my sister. Because I needed to see it happen with my own eyes. I needed that final straw. And now, Jason had handed it to me on a silver platter, at my own birthday. You see, I wasn't just going to leave him. No. I was going to expose him. Because this man? He was about to be promoted to vice president at his firm. A huge raise. A bonus. Public press. A LinkedIn announcement with Family Man written right in the bio. And Vanessa? She wasn't just some fling. She was a junior associate, beneath him in rank, which meant if their affair came to light, his reputation would burn. So I wasn't leaving quietly. I was collecting pieces. And I already had most of the puzzle. The next morning, I didn't cry. I didn't mope in bed. I brewed coffee. Opened my laptop. And opened a folder labeled Confidential, Jason and Vanessa. There were over 100 files. Dates, screenshots, GPS logs, hotel receipts. Enough to ruin them both. And I wasn't even sure if I wanted revenge yet, but I knew I wanted options. Power. And now? I had it. Later that day, Jason came home like nothing happened. Like the night before hadn't happened in front of 40 people. He walked in and said, "Hey, we need to talk." I sat at the table. Calm. "Yeah. We do." He didn't even sit down. Just started pacing, trying to spin the night into something I overreacted to. "I didn't mean to embarrass you," he said. I was stressed. There's pressure at work, the promotion, things are moving fast. I tilted my head. "So fast you accidentally called another woman babe at your wife's birthday?" He sighed. You're making it bigger than it is. And that's when I slid the folder across the table. A printed stack, every photo, every screenshot. Neatly organized with timestamps. He picked it up slowly. First photo, him with his hand on Vanessa's waist. Second, her entering his apartment at 11:46 p.m. Third, them exiting the hotel on Wilshire. His face went white. I told you I felt something was off, I said softly. But you gaslit me. Said I was insecure. Said I was imagining things. He dropped the folder on the table like it burned. I didn't want this to happen, Alyssa. But you let it happen, I replied. Over and over again. He looked at me, then at the pictures, then back at me. And that's when the panic started to show. You can't tell anyone. This could destroy my career. If this gets out. I stood up, slowly, calmly. Oh, you mean if it gets out that you slept with a junior associate while married to your wife and applying for VP of a family-centered company? His eyes widened. I leaned in. You're right, Jason. That would be devastating. He tried to step closer. Alyssa, please. Don't ruin me. We can fix this. I'll end it with her. I'll do whatever it takes. And for a moment, I almost pitied him. Almost. But I thought about every night I waited up. Every excuse he gave. Every time he looked at her the way he used to look at me. I stepped back. I'm not here to ruin you, Jason. I'm here to rebuild myself. Without you. He opened his mouth again, but I was already walking to the door. Get your things. I want you out by tomorrow night. But I already called a lawyer. And with that, I left the room, again. But this time, I wasn't the one being betrayed. I was the one taking everything back. Vanessa didn't expect me to show up. Not at her job. Not in broad daylight. And definitely not wearing a fitted black blazer, heels, and a smile that said I was done playing the fool. She was coming back from lunch, iced latte in one hand, texting with the other. Probably him. Probably another, can't stop thinking about last night or she's being crazy, babe message like the ones I found on his deleted WhatsApp chats. And just as she reached for the office door, I stepped right into her path. She froze. The phone dropped slightly. Her eyes darted around like she was hoping someone would come out and rescue her. But it was just us. Hi, I said, calm and cold. Remember me? Vanessa gave a half-nervous, half-smug smile, the kind people wear when they think they've won. Oh. Alyssa. I didn't know you'd be out of the picture? I cut her off. Yeah, I figured that's what he told you. She stood up straighter. Look, I didn't mean for any of this to get messy. You mean public? I asked. She shifted uncomfortably. I don't want drama. I let out a sharp laugh. Then you probably shouldn't sleep with a married man who throws his wife a birthday party while calling you babe in front of her. Now her face went pale. You humiliated me, I continued, stepping closer. In front of my family, my friends, people I've known for years. You thought I'd just disappear? Let him walk away clean with you on his arm? She tried to speak, but I held up my hand. Don't bother. I'm not here for your apologies. I came to deliver something. I pulled a sleek white envelope from my purse and handed it to her. What's this? She asked, fingers trembling slightly as she opened it. Her face fell. Inside were 3 things. A copy of the company's dating policy, highlighting the paragraph that explicitly forbids relationships between managers and direct subordinates. The printed photos of her and Jason outside the hotel. And the CC'd email I sent to their company's HR department that morning, marked, urgent, violation of conduct policy. She blinked. You sent this? I did, I nodded. Oh, and I blind copied the board of directors. Thought they'd like to know what kind of character their upcoming VP surrounds himself with. Vanessa's voice rose with panic. You're trying to ruin him. I looked her dead in the eye. No. He ruined himself. I'm just done cleaning up his messes. Her hand shook now. She looked like she wanted to scream or cry. Or maybe both. I loved him, she whispered. I stepped even closer, my voice low and sharp like glass. No, you loved winning. You loved sneaking around, feeling like you had something over me. But here's the thing, Vanessa. I leaned in. You didn't win. He just lost me. I turned to walk away, but paused, because some words just need to land. Oh. One more thing. The next time you decide to take someone's man, make sure he's not married to someone smarter than both of you. And with that, I walked out. No screaming. No hair pulling. No tears. Just the sound of my heels walking away from the woman who thought she'd replaced me, when all she really did was expose the trash I'd been too blind to take out. That night, I didn't hear from Jason. But the next morning, he called 8 times. Then he showed up at my sister's door with flowers and a sad little speech rehearsed straight from some movie. I made a mistake, Alyssa. I lost myself. I got caught up in the pressure. I didn't even let him finish. You didn't lose yourself, I snapped. You revealed yourself. He dropped the flowers. So that's it? After all these years? I stared at him, my voice steady. You cheated on me for months. Lied to me. Gaslit me. Made me question my own instincts. And the only reason you're sorry now is because I made it public. He stood there, silent. Nothing left to say. I took a deep breath and stepped back. You don't get to rewrite this ending, Jason. You don't get closure. I'm not here to give you comfort while you fall apart. I'm here to remind you of what you threw away. He looked like he wanted to cry. And maybe he did. But I didn't. Not anymore. Because I wasn't broken. I was finally free. I thought it ended with the affair. I really did. I thought once I'd exposed them, once I handed Vanessa that envelope, I'd be done. Free. Moving on. But betrayal has layers. And Jason's went deeper than infidelity. It started when I went to close the joint bank account. I sat across from the banker, a kind older woman named Elaine, who looked at the screen and frowned. Mrs. Turner, are you aware of these withdrawals? I blinked. What withdrawals? She turned the monitor toward me. $12,000. Gone. 3 weeks before my birthday. All under the label, consulting fee, Devon Media. Devon? I said aloud. That's his friend's company. Elaine nodded. Yes, but these aren't business expenses. These are transfers. Direct ones. That's when the sick feeling started in my gut. The kind you can't ignore. I went home, pulled up the account history, and traced every dollar. I noticed a pattern. Transfers to Devon, followed by cash withdrawals. Some listed under my name. Forged. He'd been funneling money from our joint savings, and writing it off as my spending. A month before our anniversary trip, he took out $4,500. He told me the resort had a cancellation fee. That was a lie. He never booked anything. He told me we couldn't afford IVF when I brought it up 6 months ago. Said we needed to be smart with money. I realized then, the affair was just one crack. He'd been stealing from me for almost a year. That night, I didn't cry. I planned. I met with a lawyer. A tough woman named Carla who read the file I handed her and looked up with fire in her eyes. You ready to make him wish he never met you? I nodded. More than ready. We filed for divorce with fraud and financial abuse as the lead claims. We froze the accounts. I requested a forensic audit of every transaction. And I subpoenaed Devon Media. Turns out, his best friend wasn't just covering for him, he was in on it. Vanessa wasn't his first affair. Just the sloppiest. When the court date arrived, Jason tried to look calm. Clean-shaven, suit pressed, that fake remorse painted across his face like cheap cologne. But when my lawyer handed the judge the file, over 120 pages of statements, screenshots, recordings, even his voice admitting guilt, Jason's face changed. He wasn't sorry. He was cornered. In the hallway after the hearing, he chased after me. "You could have just divorced me privately," he hissed. I turned to him, steady as stone. "You could have not robbed your wife. You'll regret this," he spat. I smiled. "You already do." He lost everything that day. His promotion? Gone. HR launched a full investigation. Vanessa? Fired. His credit? Wrecked. His reputation? Shattered. And me? I walked out of that courthouse in a white suit, holding the keys to my new condo. Paid in full with my money, recovered from the hidden accounts Carla found under his mother's name. He thought I was just a heartbroken wife. He didn't know I was the storm. But here's the twist no one saw coming. A week later, I got a call. From Jason's mom. I almost didn't pick up. But curiosity is a dangerous thing. "Alyssa," she said softly, "I just wanted to say. I'm sorry. I didn't know what he was doing. But I found something in the attic. Something I think you deserve to see." I met her that evening. She handed me a sealed envelope, yellowed with time. Inside were adoption papers. My name wasn't on them. Jason's was. But not as an adoptee. As a father. "Her name is Layla," she whispered. "He had her when he was 19. He never told you, did he?" I stared at the document. A whole child. Hidden. Erased. My knees buckled. Not because he had a daughter, but because he never thought I deserved to know. And suddenly, everything made sense. The late nights. The missing money. The moments he disappeared without a trace and came back smelling like baby wipes once, I thought I imagined that. He'd been leading two lives for years. And I'd been in the dark. Until now. I didn't confront him after that. There was nothing left to say. Instead, I tracked down Layla's mother. A woman named Marcy who had raised her alone. She was kind. Strong. Worn. She thought I was going to yell at her, but I didn't. I thanked her. For protecting the girl I never got to meet. I left with peace that day. Because I realized, Jason wasn't a villain in one chapter. He was a walking betrayal across every one. And I finally knew the whole story. The invitation came in a white envelope with gold foil edges. At first, I thought it was a mistake. But no, they meant to invite me. The Women in Leadership Gala. An event I used to attend with Jason, back when I played the supportive, smiling wife role while he schmoozed executives and made empty toasts about loyalty. But this time, I was the keynote speaker. They'd seen the news. The court case. The scandal. What they hadn't seen was the strength I'd found in the wreckage. So I walked into that ballroom not as someone's plus one, but as Alyssa Turner. The woman who survived the fire and came out diamond cut. I stepped onto the stage in a deep emerald dress, the same shade Vanessa once mocked as too bold for me. I smiled as the spotlight hit. And I began. "My name is Alyssa Turner. And for 10 years, I believed I was building a life with a man who loved me. I gave him everything. My time, my loyalty, my trust. I planned birthdays with handwritten notes and decorated cakes. I skipped promotions so he could chase his startup dreams. And in return, he gave me a woman. No, he gave me a wake-up call. See, betrayal doesn't just happen in bedrooms. It happens in bank accounts. In silences. In gaslit glances and "you're overreacting" shrugs. My story didn't begin the night he called another woman babe at my own birthday party. That was just the moment the mask slipped. The story began long before, in all the ways I made myself smaller to protect his ego. In every dinner I cooked while he disappeared. In every sorry I said first. But something changed that night. I stopped asking why. And started asking, what now? What now, when the life you built collapses? You build yourself. I saw her in the crowd. Vanessa. Hair sleek. Eyes distant. Sitting in the back row, pretending to blend in. I locked eyes with her, just for a second, and didn't blink. Because this was for her. To the woman who helped shatter my marriage. I don't hate you. I did. For a while, I did. But hate only chains you to the one who hurt you. So no, I don't hate you. I thank you. You helped me see what I'd been denying for years. That a man who truly loves you would never make both of you feel like a secret. You thought you won him? You inherited the lies I buried with him. Good luck with that. The room went silent. Not awkward silent, respectful silent. That quiet pause when people know they've just heard something real. And then, applause. Not polite clapping. A full standing ovation. It hit me like a wave, not the validation, but the release. 10 years of silence, broken in 5 minutes of truth. I stepped down from the podium with my head high. And just as I passed Vanessa in the aisle, I leaned in and whispered, not to hurt, but to free her. You don't have to stay in his shadow either. You'll never be more than second, if he had to lie to love you. Jason watched the video. Online. I know, because he messaged me. Not to apologize. But to ask if I'd had enough yet. I didn't respond. Because this wasn't revenge anymore. This was resurrection. I used the money I recovered to launch a foundation, Reclaimed. We help women escape financially manipulative relationships. We teach them how to rebuild credit, recover assets, and recognize the red flags that don't always look like bruises. And every time I speak, I end with this. You are not crazy. You are not dramatic. You are not broken. You are waking up. 1 year after the party, my new birthday, I threw a dinner. Not for show. Not for social media. Just close friends. My sister. My goddaughter. My new team. People who see me. Midway through the night, someone raised a glass and said, to Alyssa. For turning heartbreak into power. And for proving that the best comeback doesn't need permission. I didn't cry this time. I laughed. Because this time, it was my story. Written in my voice. And no one would ever write over me again. Sometimes the worst betrayal isn't someone choosing someone else. It's them thinking you won't choose yourself. But when you do, they lose access to the best thing they ever had. Not your love. Not your loyalty. Your peace.